Junkie Nation, what's going on? Gorgeous Georgian Goes are back with another superstar from the sport of mixed martial arts. Today we get to talk to 50K. That's Dan Ige. He gets down next week here in Las Vegas. It's the first card of the year is what I meant to say. And it's on January 14th at the Apex in Las Vegas versus Damon Jackson. Welcome back, Dan. How are you?
Hey, thank you. I'm great. Stoked to be talking to you guys. It's been a while. I know I think it's been a couple years since we last spoke, so at least in an interview form. So yeah, I'm doing great, and here we are a week away, and I'm just pumped. I'm excited to go.
Do you like the fight being in Vegas, or do you wish you were on a pay per view the following week in Rio de Janeiro? Pretty special place when it comes to talking about martial arts, mixed martial arts. It's a pay per view. What's your preference?
I mean, I love going to different places and seeing different sceneries, going to places I've never been to. Would have loved to gone to Rio, but I'm blessed and I'm fortunate to fight at home. You kind of get that home field advantage. I get to kind of stick to my normal routine, do things that I normally do, sleep in my own bed. So there's pros and cons to both. Vegas is familiar to me. My last 3 or 4 fights have been in Vegas, so I would have liked to gone somewhere, but at the same time, when I'm in there, it's the same thing essentially. My mindset is the same, and I just go out there and I do my job and I do what I have to do.
We've had a few fighters on today and last couple days, and we've been talking about how unique it is when you do fight early in the year because a lot of us can be goal oriented. The new year just gives you a fresh perspective. And so this could literally be like one of those years where you can fight three, maybe even four times. Is that how you see it in terms of what you see for 2023 for you?
A little bit. It's nice to start off the year, especially being the first card back and not having a UFC card for I don't know, 3 4 weeks now. So I think people are excited to start watching fights again and to go out there and make a big statement. First card of the year, that's big for me. But as far as a new year perspective, January 1st was just a Sunday for me. I was in the midst of training camp, preparing for this fight, and I've been preparing for this fight since literally the week after my last fight. I was feel like I didn't really get to perform at my own potential in my last fight. So I wanted a quick turnaround, but I didn't get a quick turnaround, if that makes sense. And I just kind of got in the gym. I closed myself off to media. I grounded myself, and I just figured out what my values were, and I really honed in on my values. And I went to a place where I just had to rebuild myself from scratch. And here we are a week away, and I feel great. So to your point, it would be nice to go out here, get a win, and keep that momentum rolling through 2023. But I don't look at it. I don't look at every new year as a new slate. I just kind of, I go fight by fight, and yeah, the new year started for me in June. So here we are midway through the year.
Yeah, we've known you more than 5 years, maybe even closer to 10.
Yeah.
And I just remember you've always been pretty active. I think 2017, 18, 20, 21 were all years where you fought three times. 2019, you fought twice. Last year, you only fought once. So we were always watching you compete,
Yeah.
either in a camp or competing. Things slowed down a little bit in 2022. So we
Yeah.
didn't know if that was due to maybe just, hey, you wanted to slow down. The money's better. You can be more choosier with your fight selection or
Yeah.
what. I guess that's why maybe it was. You don't see too many fighters often that get down like you do three times a year in multiple years. Like
Yeah.
you have.
Yeah. Well, fortunately for me, I've been pretty healthy. I haven't had any serious injuries to put me on the sidelines. And for me, when I'm healthy, I might as well compete. I train every day. I I live this lifestyle. So to go out there and compete is is no different for me. So I want to keep the ball rolling while I'm healthy and while I can, while I'm capable, while I'm still young, while I'm in my prime. Yeah, 2022, I only fought once, and that was it wasn't really my choice. I mean, I know people wanted me to take a step back, you grow, you get better, but I felt I got a lot better from March to June. Like I think I fought, or I don't even know, I fought December and I fought June. Um, and I felt like I got a lot better within that time span. I didn't get to show it really, but I got a lot better. And so after that June fight, I think a lot of people wanted to see me just take a break and grow. And I'm constantly growing. I'm constantly getting better because I'm training year round. If I don't have a fight, I'm always picking people's brains. I train with different coaches, train with different people. I try to improve on my skill set. And then obviously if I have a fight, it's just meat and potatoes and we dial things in and get ready for that specific opponent. But yeah, it was hard because 2021 I went 1-2, but I made a decent amount of money. Had one performance of the night bonus, had a main event in there, and then going into 2022, I fought once and paid a lot of money on my taxes in 2021, and then I just didn't have that consistency, so it was a little frustrating from that standpoint. I am excited to be competing here in first of the month of January, so yeah, here we are now. I can't go backwards.
It's interesting because we've done this show for a long time, a lot of episodes, a lot of guests. No one's ever made me think. Well, it's been a while since someone made me think about something we've just never thought about, and that is the financial part. I brought it up, you answered. You can have that great year, and then a year where you do decide to hang back, you still got to pay the taxes over here, and then if you don't get that second fight, then uh those are the things we don't find out about how stressful the job can be, and why sometimes maybe you might need that fight or maybe not need that fight. But another thing I wanted to ask you was Eric Nixick, your coach, he's back at it in terms of it looks like he's kind of camping with you certain times, popping in. He did a whole camp with you once. You guys have grown together, to the top of the game. But I got to give you credit. You're one of the first guys that really took a chance on him being your head coach. We often ask him about you. Let me
Yeah,
ask you about him. What's that been like working together and then you seeing him succeed?
I think I mean, I love Eric. Working with Eric from the very beginning, Eric was a guy that he never got the shine that he gets today. He was a guy that I envisioned. He was the gym manager of Extreme Couture, but he was a guy that was at every practice. He analyzed, he observed, he listened to high level coaches, and I could see he really wanted to help. And he was a guy that um, I saw that in him, but he also saw that in me, the willingness to learn, the willingness to want to get better. And we kind of just gravitated towards each other in that sense. And a synergy just kind of happened. And, you start to grow together as a coach. And, over the years, he's really climbed the ladder as far as a coach and climbed the success ladder. And, it's awesome to see his growth, especially to see where he's come from, like from the beginning. Because in the beginning, he didn't get a lot of respect. He was a guy, oh, he doesn't have fights, he doesn't have a background, he's a football guy, he's a weightlifter. Like, no, he's a guy that is an excellent coach. He can coach you anything. If you went and studied badminton, he could teach you how to, play badminton. If you went and studied pickleball, you'd be a great pickleball coach. And that's the route he went with MMA, and he's just constantly evolving, and he sees the fine angles of the sport. And I think he's the next evolution of coaches that you're going to start seeing coach of the year, coach of the year, coach of the year, and we're going to keep getting those titles. And so, but as a personal, he's family to me. He's my brother. He's my friend. He's a mentor to me. I look up to him when I need personal life advice. I reach out to him just to have someone in my circle that I know that I can trust, because for us, it didn't begin with financials. I was making no money. He was just a guy that believed in me. And now that I make money, like, it is my joy and honor to be able to pay him as a coach, because I know it helps him and it helps his family. And yeah, I'm just excited to kind of grow in this together with him.
I'm glad when we have the guys on from Extreme Couture, because I can share a few things with the audience. Obviously, keeping what's sacred in the gym sacred in the gym, but it's been phenomenal watching you two grow. You know what I mean? And you don't let them down ever, because, folks, let me tell you something. The other day they had a sprint drill. Eric's running them through sprints, part of their warm up. And who, of course, is flying down that mat? Dan Ige. I'm looking at him going, man, you know, and you've kind of now become, I don't know if you've noticed, but I know Brad's like a team captain, but you're slowly ascending to a role of a lead or a co-captain or something like that will be anointed to you soon.
Yeah.
Because of your, you know, the time you've put in. But you literally are one of the guys that kind of, I think, leads the practice, the intensity of it. And I think a lot of it has to do at the same time with, you know, because Eric he doesn't always oversee every practice, but when he does, it seems like, you know, I like seeing the progression of both of your guys' careers in that
Yeah.
aspect.
Yeah. No, thank you. I've kind of sensed that as well. I haven't been like the outspoken guy in the gym, but as of recently, I'm kind of, it's like it just comes upon you and you feel the need to want to bring your team up because you want everyone to get better. Before, I I was just selfish. I want to go in there for myself and get the most out of practice and go home. But now, if I'm going in there and I have guys next to me, like you said in the sprint drills, if you're not trying your fucking hardest, if you're not running around when the coach is saying sprint because you're tired or you just don't feel like being there, you're a waste of space on the mat. So I'm starting to become a little more vocal in that because I want the guys around me to get better as well. Because when these guys get better, I get better. I don't want to be the best guy in the room. I want guys to push me daily. So in little things like that, sprints, I want to try to win. I'm running as fast as I possibly can because I want to bring that competitiveness out of people that will essentially push me to a higher level. And that's just the, whatever you want to call it, the Mamba mentality, just the will to win, I don't know. I don't know what you want to call it. Do it anyway. Yeah.
Hey Dan, earlier you mentioned that you felt like you maybe didn't live up to your potential. What did you mean exactly by that, and how do you feel like maybe you've solved that for this fight?
Well, number one, I'm not an excuse maker, so that I don't want to this. I don't even. It's hard to go there. Um, I know from my own personal perspective that I did not compete at my best in my last fight. That being said, I fought a great opponent, Mosar Evloev, wonderful, undefeated, highly skilled, one of the best in the world for a fact. Um, from my own perspective, it it kind of goes back maybe to the Korean Zombie fight. It was my first fight as a dad. I put a tremendous amount of pressure on myself to work harder. I was already working pretty much at maximal capacity, but I had to work even harder to go out there and be an example and provide for my family. Something I'm already doing, but I made it more of an emphasis, and I lost that fight, and I kind of went through a little depression, whatever you want to call it. I was just down for a while. And I went into the Emmett fight. I went into the Emmett fight feeling kind of the same way. Like I didn't perform. I felt just depressed and still down and stuck in the past, stuck in the zombie fight. And I got over that and I got the Mobstar fight and they gave me 17 weeks notice. And I was like, you know what? Like putting all this behind me, I'm going to train like a fucking animal. I'm going Rocky 3. Like I'm going to the mountains. I trained with the Russians and Khabib for like 3 weeks. I trained in Denver for 3 weeks and I came back and I still had like 9 weeks and I just grinded in Vegas. And I I think mentally I overworked physically I was a beast. I was an animal. I was in the best condition of my life, but mentally I overworked myself, and I was just drained and tired and behind. I couldn't make clear decisions in the fight. I was there. I ate a knee. People want to make that excuse for me. Well, you were doing great till you got the knee, and that changed the fight. The knee, I recovered quickly. He hit me with the knee. I was rocked for a second. I recovered, but I was just behind. I was behind, and that is what it is. Also, that's also in the past, and that's just it sucks because you only get one day to show all the work you put in, and fight that fight, and that's what I showed, and that's who I am. That's how I was defined after, and so I've learned not to place my identity anymore in winning and losing. Although all I want to do is win, that does not define who I am, and I've so since then I've just worked on myself. I worked on my personal life and worked on the things that matter, and continually to build myself as a man and also as a fighter. But I know at the end of the day, my identity does not end with fighting, and I think that's an important role to have, because when I was going in my last two fights, I was lost. I didn't. My identity was in winning, and I didn't win, and so therefore I'm a loser, even though I'm fighting these best guys in the world, top 5 caliber, and I'm still right there. But you want to define me as the guy that lost 3 in a row, um, and that I'm washed up now, that's fine too, because it doesn't really matter. I feel like I'm at my absolute best, and I'm still growing to this day.
So what would you say would be like the theme for 2023? Applying everything that you've learned about yourself, your career, what would you say the theme of this year will be?
The theme is onward. The theme is offense and taking this shit back, because for a while I was on the defense. I was countering. I was just sitting back. Now it's time to start taking this shit back and get on the offense again, and make a statement, make it known that I'm still a threat, and I'm still a potential contender to fight for the belt, and I will make that known.
I'm glad to hear that, because the other day somebody on the MMA Junkie Instagram, with something to do with judging and reffing. I've said something that's quite unpopular with a lot of fighters. I don't know what your thoughts are. I'll ask you, I guess. I said, because, judging and reffing, it does get criticized a lot. But my point is this: the onus is on the fighters to convincingly win rounds. Otherwise, you leave the hands in these people that are being criticized.
Yeah.
And I know people go, well, hey, don't you think they're trying to win? Don't you think they're trying to do this and that or whatever? But what I've noticed is a lot of times fighters will tell us years later, you know what? I needed to have more offense. I needed to put the pressure. I needed to have more volume. Because it's not like at the end you collapse. It looks like there's still there could have been opportunities. I point to Carlos Condit. I remember his first 28 wins. He had 13 subs and 13 KOs. And he didn't have the most power, but somehow he'd get these finishes.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of heat from it, because people were like, how dare you say about the fighters? They lose weight, they try, they do this. And I was like, look, listen, the 14th is coming up. Unless the judges and the refs have improved since then guess what? You're leaving it in their hands if you can't somehow convincingly win rounds or get that finish. So therefore, I feel like it's on the fighters, because unfortunately, the way the payment works, it's a show money, win money, and then obviously whatever bonus structure there might be or whatever. But that's why I was glad to hear you say offense, and just maybe it feels like you are gonna, you're tweaking your game plan, your approach, and I think that's awesome. But hopefully that also goes in line with what I was bringing up right now.
Yeah. It all comes down to risk and reward, and sometimes we don't have the courage to go out there and take risk. And but I think that courage is built up over time. It's built through trials, it's built through tribulations. And I've If you look on my Instagram, it says champion mindset. I can't tell you the truth if I had a champion mindset 3, 4, 5 years ago when I put that, or if that was just from being confident because I won 6 in a row. Oh, I'm going to write champion mindset because I'm destined to be a champion. But I can tell you through being kicked to the ground, through losing, being humiliated in front of friends, in front of family, and losing high level fights, losing spotlight opportunities as the main event, but deciding to go again and again and again and again. The champion mindset is there, and it's being built, and it's been built through that. It wasn't built through winning. It was built through being kicked to the ground and getting back up and trying again. So yeah, that's all I really got to say.
Let's close in a good mood here. Remind us again, you can't watch Puna fight or he can't watch you fight. It's either a jinx or nerves thing. What was it again?
No, I don't know. Puna's superstitious, but it's different. We're competing. I I think Puna couldn't go to my fights because every time Puna went to my fight,
got it.
Yeah.
So in this instance, he's gonna fight right before you. Will you be watching, or is that too emotional for you?
I was thinking about that. At first, I was fighting before him, and then the Jeff Neal and Shock fight fell out, and I got moved to co-main. Now I'm fighting after him. I think he's a little more relieved that he gets to fight first.
Mm-hmm.
And but I just texted him. I was like, "Hey, you're up, buddy. You know, you got to set the tempo." I will be watching, and I'm going to be nervous as hell, but I think that's a good thing. It's a good thing to like kind of get those feelings. I want to have feelings. That means I'm human.
Yeah.
Like again, going back to fighting Emmett, I had no feeling. I was so numb to emotion. I had no nerves, no adrenaline, and it was just I didn't like that because I didn't feel like a human. And when I feel nerves, when I feel anxiety, that's normal. Like that's a human thing. So I get to experience that obviously when I get to watch one of my best friends fight. But honestly, that's my whole excitement over this whole card is just to get to go out there and compete together with one of my best friends from childhood. I told him like we may never get this opportunity again. So if this is our chance to make a mark together, let's fucking do it. And here we are a week away and it's looking good.
Well, it would be great to see you both get your hand raised. And if it works out where he can do his thing and somehow race back there and be there and it doesn't mess any one of you up, that'd be awesome. Because I know how close you two are. And, you know, you guys have been there for each other. So I think even before high school, but I remember you guys mentioning high school. So outstanding that you guys have been on this journey together. And then even tying it into, of course, Eric, who we brought up before.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Thanks for the time. It has been a while since we caught up, and we appreciate you opening up to us. And hopefully we can talk again in a few weeks.
Yeah.
And discuss what that plan is for 2023. I think it's going to be big for you, Dan.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys. It was good talking to you guys. And we'll definitely talk soon.